has going on. It is I, the jack of all trades with the foul mouth, Commodore Urban. And oh shit, here we go again. You're probably wondering what the fuck you mean. Well, I just got done. I was watching this. I'm watching this video about this guy's collection, his Titanic collection, and he's got a really amazing collection. But he talks about the switch theory. You know, the infamous switch theory where they switched Olympic with Titanic. The motherfucker believes it. So, I can't remember your name. This video is for you. I will be sending this video to you. And I will put a link in the description below to his video of his collection, so you guys can watch it. But, anyway, I'm going to explain to you why this is not real using information from the book Ship of Dreams. So, anyway, back in 1995 there was a book that was written called The Riddle of the Titanic. It was co-written by Dan Vander Vat and Robin Gardner. And there was a conspiracy theory that, of course, of course, the collision with the Hawk and the Olympic had their little accident in the Solent. Anywho, the damage done to Olympic's hull was slight enough that it could be temporarily mended until a week-long window could be found to send her to Harland and Wolff for more thorough repairs, which included replacing the propeller blade she had lost or thrown in mid-Atlantic. So from March the 1st to 7th of 1912, the Olympic was docked alongside the Titanic for 6 days. The sisters sat next to one another as the Titanic was prepared to enter service and the Olympic was prepared to re-enter. Now, at this point, the story supposedly goes, the Olympic allegedly became the Titanic because the damage was so bad that White Star Line was just going to sink the ship and all this other bullshit. Anywho, 3 years later, this book was released. Robin Gardner actually went further with another book called Titanic, the Ship that Never Sank. Basically, a big pile of bullshit that wasted a lot of trees. It was a book that should have never been printed. I read it. It disgusted me. It was stupid. But anywho, they were saying all this shit about it was deliberate, a deliberate thing to sink the Titanic. And it's not just a book. There was supposedly, there was a documentary that showed the wreck, and they were showing the fact it supposedly said Olympic, not Titanic. But even in 2010, when they looked at the bow, it said Titanic, because the letters were not on the hull. They were engraved into the steel. So yeah. So the major plank of the argument that the sisters could be switched was, of course, in that week of 1912, that the Titanic was superficially identical to her sister except for her sea deck portholes. Now, these two ships were nearly identical in dimensions, and they were built from the same plans, yes, but their decorations in many areas were carbon copy, but they were different. For the eagle eye, differentiating the sisters is relatively easy because of changes made to the first class promenade areas on A and B deck. Okay, the forward half of Titanic's promenade is enclosed. On the Olympic, it was left open, which people were complaining about. So, there we go. Mark Shernside did a thorough modern account of the Olympic career, conclusively proving that this could not have been the motivation. The Olympic had 3 promenade areas for her first-class passengers. There's space on the boat deck, the A deck, and the fully enclosed B deck. After observing that all 3 areas were generally underused on the Olympic, White Star decided it was excessive. So the B deck area on Titanic was reconfigured for more cabins. A fact that Olympic did not get until her refit of 1912-1913, after Titanic had sank. Okay. Now, anywho, uh, the restaurant was not the only room to be expanded between the Olympic and the Titanic, though, because, the restaurant. Uh, there was a larger reception room on the Titanic. The bridge bulwarks were teak on Olympic. They were steel on the Titanic. The wheelhouses were different layouts. There were fewer windows in the Titanic's chart room. The barrier rails of the officers' promenade were further forward on the Titanic. Their bedrooms were 9 feet aft. The size and shape of the sisters' on-deck ventilators were completely different from one to the other. Water pipes ran higher up on the Titanic's funnels than the Olympic. Her hatch covers on the forecastle were in different places, as were the doors on her deck cranes. The sea deck cabin portholes were of a different configuration, which, Robin Gardner actually acknowledged. The roofs of the first class smoking room, writing room, and lounge were higher on the Titanic. The third class general room had a different porthole arrangement. There was different porthole arrangements on the stern and on the bow. Several styles of cabins were replicated but moved around, and some, like Thomas Andrews' cabin, did not even exist on the Olympic. The layout of the Turkish baths on the F deck were slightly altered between the two sisters. There's a lot of stuff. Like, the ships had their own, yard numbers, respectively 400 for Olympic and 401 for Titanic, and a bunch of items on the ocean floor had the numbers 401. But, it's just... Anyway, it says right here, beyond the overwhelming stuff, this theory is nonsense. When maritime historians Steve Hall, Bruce Beveridge, and Art Braunschweiger examined Gardner and Van der Vet's arguments in 2012, which I did a review on the book, they pro-offered the unanswerable conclusion that there simply was no profit in sinking Titanic on purpose, and even if there were, an elaborate switch scheme would have been unnecessary. One man, one box of matches, and a drum of lamp oil is all that would have been needed. Fires while docked ships happen with brutal frequency. They have gutted the German ship's sail in 1900. They destroyed the French line's Paris in 1939 and the Normandy in 1942. If the Olympic was no longer commercially viable, and there's nothing to suggest that this was the case, it would be to the contrary. Her trip for repairs to Belfast in spring of 1912 would have been the perfect opportunity for a devastating fire made to resemble an accident. As a risk to her owners, an orchestrated inferno would have been far less severe and infinitely less stupid than sailing her out in the middle of the Atlantic with thousands of people and their luggage on board and ramming her into an iceberg. So, there you have it. The switch theory is a bunch of shit. I'm sorry to say, but it is. It's stupid. None of it adds up. I tried adding it up. I know you, sir, said it adds up, but none of it adds up to me. It's like trying to stick a square block into a round hole. It doesn't fucking make any sense. So yeah, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I do like your collection, by the way. I wish I could remember your name, but I don't. I like your collection, though. Your collection's really nice. Anywho, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below and I will get back with you. And as always, if you're new to my channel, you like what I'm doing, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell and you will never miss a video from me and become part of my crew. So until next time, this is Commodore Urban, saying smooth seas and clear skies. Happy sailing with you and God bless. You take care now. Bye-bye.